Life is filled with unique experiences that are shaped and blended by race, ethnicity, and culture. This thing called life is a space where we can share our experiences so we can learn, grow, and empower change. Our logo was created by Marianne Luis. Thank you, Marianne. The music you hear at the beginning and end is by Como Media and Music Unlimited from Pixbay.com. Today I interviewed Dianna Flynn, who shares her experience going through divorce as she finds her inner strength through books, therapy, and living an independent life. Where would you like to start?
That's a good question. Boy. Well, I feel like, or at least in my situation, it doesn't happen the minute you get divorced. It happens years before, right? So, years before I actually left, I knew things weren't right. I knew I should leave for my own mental and physical health. But I didn't, because that's not what you do. Well, in my mind, that's not what you do. You take these vows and you just keep going. So it finally did get to a point where I just left one day. No clothes, nothing, just left. And looking back on that moment, I feel like I was very numb, wasn't really feeling anything at the time. And I really feel like I was being guided and helped that day to leave. And it's never easy, but I did it. I'm really proud of myself for doing it. I'm really grateful for all the people and family that helped me, because I couldn't have done it without them. Now I'm a different person, and yes, I'm on my own and have been for a little over 6 years now, but I was able to do it. I was able to support myself, and again, with help certainly from family. But I'm on my own. I'm in my apartment and working, and much better off and much happier than I was then.
A couple things come to my mind. It seemed like for a while there was this like voice that was telling you, gotta leave, you gotta leave, you gotta leave. And, from what you hear just from like society, it's like, no, you're not allowed to do that. You gotta,
And no confidence on my part. No self-confidence on my part that I could go out there and live on my own and be on my own. I think that was for, many reasons why I was not confident, didn't think I could do it. So it was a combination.
And this sort of this scene or this part when you actually decide to like go, like something comes to my mind. It's something that like I've experienced doing some other things, but it's sort of like you're asked to stand at the edge of a cliff and you're asked to kind of like jump, and you don't know what's going to happen. It's like, you're going to be safe, but it's still super, super scary to do. And I feel like you jump.
I did, but I also responded to it not really feeling the scared, because I was numb. I completely numb. I had no feelings. I was just going through motions, that I knew I had to go through.
And here we have Lola, your cat, that's making a guest appearance. Oh yeah, here she is. For those of you who are looking on YouTube, this is Lola. Lola's kind of thick. Lowe's kind of she's she's
Short and stout.
yes, short and stout. Um, I'm not sure if she has a neck,
She
but
used to, I
she
think.
used to. But going back to like, you had no emotions, you were numb. Do you feel like that benefited you,
Yeah.
kind of being able to like
Yeah.
leave? Okay.
Yeah. It's like something took over and it's just like, okay, we're numbing you out. So you continue and you'll just do it and you'll go through it. And so for me, yeah, that numbness, feeling absolutely nothing,
Mhm.
uh, was beneficial.
And that wasn't the end. That was the
Beginning.
beginning. That was the beginning of the end. Because in this last, it's been what, like 6 years?
Yeah, a little over
A
six.
little over 6 years. I feel like that in itself has been
A
a
journey.
journey. Yeah.
My journey.
Yeah, I know. This journey in life.
Yeah. This thing called life.
This thing called life.
Um, yeah, it's been a healing and a learning journey because I had to do both. I was in a situation where, no self-confidence and wasn't happy. Was just kind of going through the motions of daily life instead of actually living my life. So I had a lot of healing and a lot of learning to do. And I just started reading books, and Wayne Dyer's books really helped me. I think everyone finds their own, books or authors or people that will resonate with them. And he really resonated with me. I feel like he made it very easy for me to understand. And some of the things he was saying just really hit home to me. So I read, 2 or 3 of his books. I actually started reading his books before I left. So I'm sure that had something to do with it too. So I just started reading and rethinking and learning to think in a different way, and more self-confidence and more self-loving, which I had zero. I had to really learn to love myself, which I don't think I ever had before. So that was the main thing, which I'm still to this day, working on a daily basis. My self-confidence is way up there again. Something I work on daily, but obviously I did it. I know I can do it. And I just try to enjoy every day instead of living, going through the day. I try to enjoy it. I try to live life instead of just go through it. And yeah, it hasn't been easy. Lots of lonely times, lots of tears. Yeah, at one point I'd walk into my apartment at the front door, and I would just feel a sick pit in my stomach, just because it's just like I'm walking into a apartment, no one's there. But when in reality, the only person I needed there was me. So that was something I had to learn. But now I enjoy those times. I enjoy reading, doing whatever I want to do. I actually enjoy my time and being by myself. And I still have times for loneliness. I'm a human being when I'm lonely, but I do try to socialize. I've made a lot of great friends. I have my family around me. I have my work. So I did it, but I'm still learning. I'm still trying to do some, like, what they call inner child work to make sure that I don't go back there, and I learn the lessons so I can move forward and not, kind of make the same mistakes I did in the past.
At the beginning, it seemed like there was a lot of reflection, reading books. And I know, therapy has been a part of your story and doing that a
Yes,
little
right.
bit.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up because I found the first therapist I went to didn't work out, and that's really important. I think therapy is great, but you do have to find the right person for you. So the first person just wasn't. I can't say when I left there I felt better, or I did go a few times, and there wasn't a connection, but I did find through a friend a great therapist, and she really helped me. Um, and I highly recommend that. Trying to find someone that you really connect with, that you really trust, that you can really talk to. Because yes, you can talk to family, yes, you can talk to friends, but you really tend to open up more to someone who is not connected to the situation or not emotionally connected to you. They tend to be able to see things a little bit clearer and can help you. So I do highly recommend that. And she really did help me. So I'm really grateful that I was able to do that and go to her. And yeah, she was huge.
Yes, I agree 100%. And I mean, therapy and counseling is wonderful for many reasons. And I agree with you that we have to, there's this connection. It's sometimes like indescribable, which is like, I don't know why, but like, I just connect with this person, right? I do think that's important. And I think it's for many reasons. And one of them is like, we don't give ourselves time to reflect and say, like, how are you doing? I think we get caught up with work, family, like all this stuff, and our minds are just going a mile a minute. And when we engage in therapy, that's space for us. That's space for us to reflect, and just be like, how are you doing? And I think that's really important.
And she was so positive. And she would just give me compliments and say positive things to me. And I remember thinking, I'm not used to that. And she started kind of making me think, well, yeah. So that was one of the reasons why she was so good for me. She just kept on, giving me compliments and telling me how, strong I was. And she couldn't believe that I had done what I'd done. And I actually started taking those comments she was giving me and saying, yeah, that's right. I mean, and I looked at them in a different way. So, again, if you find the right person, it's just invaluable, I think.
Sometimes we're so used to having a negative perception of ourselves that that's just what we think. And it's like all the time. It's like we're
Right.
every single day, and that's just like hardwired in our brain that that's just what we do. And then someone else starts, looking at us in a positive way.
Right. And it wasn't family. And because family, yes, they were so supportive, and yes, they said great things to me, but they're family. So you're going, of course you're saying that. But when a stranger who I didn't know started saying those same things to me, I'm going, yeah, yeah. So it makes a difference.
Yeah, and it challenges the way we view things, right? Challenges, like, wow, like maybe I am being very negative about myself and the world around me. Um, and it's super healthy to challenge and let go of like old ideas we have of ourselves and the world, and we kind of open up to new experiences. But I also feel like as we let go and we change, there's like new challenges too that we face. And I'm wondering if you felt like, as during these 6 years, do you feel like there was like new challenges that you've never faced before? Like this was new to you?
I never felt I was never by myself, right? So I never experienced that feeling of being by myself. That was new for me. I went from home, to living in a college dorm to living with my sister to marriage. I never ever lived by myself. So that was huge. That was really, really huge for me. And that took me a while. And it wasn't good at the beginning because I believe that this isn't good. People aren't supposed to live by themselves. This was not natural. So I had to go through all that and realize that this is pretty good. No one's telling me what to do. I don't have to explain myself to anyone. I could do whatever I want, watch whatever I want, eat whatever I want, whatever I want. So it had some pretty positive things for me. But it was a process because it wasn't at first. I didn't like the feeling at first. And it was a little scary. So, but yeah, that was the major thing I remember going through and not liking the feeling of how I was feeling when I was alone.
Being independent, but also the feelings that came with
Right.
being independent and not having someone always around. And
Right.
I mean, I feel like for many reasons, but it's sometimes it's just like completely new experience, and that's just uncomfortable in itself.
Right.
But then I know, you talked about like inner child work, and I would imagine stuff from that came up too when you were.
I'm actually going through that right now. I'm still working on that one.
Yeah.
But yes, we all have things that we have to experience growing up, and what you go through, and what happened, to you as a child, and how you reacted, and it's all things you don't deal with really because you're just living your life. But I really felt like if I didn't want to make the same mistakes again, I kind of had to look at why I made certain choices and why I did certain things. And why I did them. So I wouldn't make them again. So that's why I started doing inner child work and looking at, what you went through and why same things you experienced, and that has a lot to do with choices you end up making.
Listening to your story, it's like a lot of change. A lot of change and growth.
I know.
And I'm wondering, like, what does that feel like to you? Like, this before and after this,
well, I'm definitely not the same person, right? The person that I was very dependent on everyone around me. That's the best way I could describe it. I felt like my job was to make sure everyone around me was happy. I don't know why, but that's what I thought I was responsible for. So it was important to me that everyone liked me and that everyone around me was happy. That's what I concentrated on. I never concentrated on myself for whatever reason, maybe because I didn't feel important, but and now I do concentrate on myself. It's important that I'm happy. And so yeah, it's a lot of growing, and it goes on. I mean, it doesn't stop. So it continues.
Yeah. Change is constant.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the only constant thing in life, in world, nature, is that there's constantly changing. And there was something else that came to mind. Well, I mean, I know a word that comes up for me listening to your story is freedom and liberation.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's been a part?
Yeah.
Freedom and liberation, and that's why I kind of, I know when I had chatted about going through recovery and addiction. Like, um, I was, and I still am grateful that I had those experiences because, like, I got to experience what it's like to change dramatically. And I'm wondering if you feel the same way.
Oh, I'm very grateful, that's for sure. I do see, the thing that I notice a big change in me is I can view other people in a different way now. And I do see people just going through their lives and not really looking. Um, Kind of what I was doing, just, getting up, going through life, going to bed, but not really truly living, I feel like. Um, so it's interesting how I can look now and see maybe other people doing kind of the exact same thing that I was doing. But that's their journey, and you know, we're all on our own path and our own journey. And I'm just grateful to be where I am and to have experienced what I've experienced, and to come to yeah, have the strength um to not just say, well, this is my life, and it is what it is, and so be it. So um yeah, I'm just really, really grateful. And really grateful that I have this desire to keep learning and to keep changing. And um it's life is short, so I just want to keep getting better, and for myself, and for anyone I interact with, I just want to be a better person. And um, I can honestly and truly say that I'm happy. And I still have some moments of loneliness, but um, I think that's okay now. uh, because I know I know what it is. When I experience, I acknowledge it for what it is, and I know it's going to pass, and it does. So and that's okay, because I know there's a lot more happy moments now than there are lonely moments. So I think that's the big difference.
The one thing that popped in my mind was being present.
Mm.
I heard that in your story, I think at the beginning, kind of like, being in the here and now. And I'm wondering if you could just kind of chat about that or briefly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure my children probably disagree with that, but I used to just worry, 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 worry. I never lived in the present moment. I just worried about maybe something I did or how things going to be in the future. I just worried, worried, worried. And to be honest, I don't worry like that anymore. I don't worry about the past at all. I don't spend any time on my past at all. Yes, I still kind of worry every once in a while about the future, but when I do, I know I realize what I'm doing, and I try and stop. Um, and living in the present is just so important, or at least it has been for me in my journey. That's really all we have. So being present and just being happy. And when you have those moments of feeling sad, just acknowledging them and saying, that's okay. I'm going to be sad for a few minutes and it will pass. And maybe in those moments when I'm feeling sadness, I can do something that makes me happy. Um, I, I have tended to do that, whether it's going for gelato, or having my favorite snack, or reading my favorite book, reading or watching a movie that I really like. So when I am feeling those moments, I just tend to choose, you know what, I'm going to be really good to myself and nice to myself. I'm going to treat myself with something. So it's all about living in the present. I mean, yes, I still worry about my future, But when I catch myself doing that, I just try to come back.
And I feel like that's super important. You said, you're living this independent life and you're financially independent, but I feel like you're emotionally independent. And this is sort of a way that you can kind of live an emotionally independent life. Like you can get happiness, you can feel sadness, you can have all those experiences with yourself and no one else.
Right. Right. And I never want to go back to where I was. So it's important to me to just keep learning and keep growing and keep positive.
Staying open to change.
That's right.
Yeah. Like I said, Zoom is gonna kick me off unless I purchase Zoom 1 Pro, and I'm not doing that.
Well, if anyone has any questions for me, go to this thing called Life, and Daniel will share them with me, and I'd be happy to chat.
That's exactly what I want to end on. I wanted to ask you if someone was listening or viewing this on YouTube, and if they wanted to support you. I'm wondering what would that look like if people wanted to support you?
Yeah, if someone wants to go to the website and ask me a question or reach out, I'd be happy. I know you'll pass it on to me, and I'd be happy to respond.
Perfect. So you can either on YouTube, you can go on the comment section if you want to, ask a question, send a message of support. You can send a message on Gmail, this thing called life7@gmail.com, or you can go to our website, but our website just has the email account. So you can just email us but yes, send messages of support. You can send questions and I'll forward all of them to you. How does that sound?
That sounds perfect.
Okay. Well, thank you for being here on this thing called life. And
thanks for talking to me. It was fun.
Dianna continues to learn and grow while living in Connecticut. She enjoys pickleball, dancing, reading, and aspires to publish poems that she's been writing while on her journey through life. If you'd like to support Dianna, please email us at thisthingcalledlife7@gmail.com. And as always, feel free to share, and subscribe. You can find our links to Spotify and YouTube in the description below.